Honestly, the next 24, 40 hours, I could not even like walk properly. Like I could walk, but it was just in pain. I had to like adjust my body to a position where it doesn't hurt. The next morning, after that session, I literally could not put my socks on. I had to ask my partner to help me. I couldn't even bend over, touch my toes, like, just to do basic things. And that was like the hardest thing. Line of like, not like bitching it, but then at the same time, I've got to be smart about the whole process on not overdoing it to a point where your body's not ready for it. So. Okay, so I want to jump on here and talk about injuries. Okay, so again, my last comp that I did was last October 2023, and I had a really good block of like maybe 6 months of really solid training, building my strength, and my body weight was a little bit higher as well, probably closer to like 87, 88 or so. So yeah, it obviously was building really well, but then somewhere around April or May, I tweaked my adductor, and that's where I had to obviously switch up my, technique a little bit on squat, because that's where I was most affected. I could barely even deadlift. Squatting was just hurting at the bottom of the squat and everything. So it was a very difficult time then, and obviously recovering was another thing. So it was almost like it plays more with your mentals of like, the work that you put in, and obviously getting injured is always a little bit of a setback, but a bit of frustration as well during that time. But again, you slowly come back and go from there. And around June, that's when I started coming back, which just started getting better. I went to see a physio. Then I went away around June to Vietnam for about 3 weeks, and I really enjoyed the time. Before I actually went to Vietnam, my adductor was feeling a lot better, but then because my training started to increase the intensity, eventually I tweaked my back. So one thing led to another. Like, if I show you guys the squat that I did, I actually did 277.5. But on the way up on the squat, I tweaked my back and I finished the lift, but I was not happy. It was supposed to be a SBD type day, and hitting that single, it was supposed to be a last warm-up, to be honest, but something just felt off, and I don't know, my back was just absolutely sore. I still continued on. I was very frustrated because I knew this was not a normal like injury. Didn't feel right, and then I finished my bench, did well on that, but again, I couldn't even barely walk properly. I kind of kept it in. It's really hard when you're training with your mates and then you just don't know what it is. And then I tried to deadlift. I could barely deadlift, honestly, like 70, 120, like it could barely without pain. And obviously I could try and continue. I did 170 as a top, and I was like, nah, I've got to go home. This is too painful. So that was just probably about a week before I had to Vietnam, and that was frustrating. But in hindsight, it was actually a good thing, because 3 weeks of just having a little bit of a break in training and just enjoying myself, recharging up physically and mentally. Of course, like when I was in Vietnam, there was a lot of traveling that I had to do, so a lot of sitting, waiting, everything like that. So it definitely, although it recovered to a decent level, it still felt weak in certain positions. So coming back, turned my coach to, create a plan for myself coming back into training and potentially competing, very obviously in the back end of the year. But then as I was getting back into it, feeling good, I knew my strength wasn't there, because I've took almost like 4 weeks of little to no training, because when I was away on holiday, I probably trained like maybe 4 times. So not often, just a few pumps, and that's about it, just to maintain some strength. Next, what did I do? Oh yeah, I came back and I just did I'm thinking my strength was still there. So I think my last warm up was probably like 230. Actually, no, I did 235 or 230 for 3. And I just a top RPE of RPE, I think it was RPE 7 or 8, something like that. I did 255 at spotters. And I thought I would smoke this. I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't think it was going to be that challenging. And then, boom, again, I did my back, and this time it freaking hurt. Honestly, for one of my coaches that was spotting me, one of the coaches at the gym that I'm at, looked at me. He's like, "Are you good?" Because he knew something was off, because I kind of started and slipped in the squat. And yeah, the boys were hyped and stuff that I got it, but I was deep down, I'm like, nah, this is not good again. So it's been a roller coaster ride for the injury aspect. So then I went to go see physio to check it out. But just before that, honestly, the next 24, 40 hours, I could not even walk properly. I could walk, but it was just in pain. I had to adjust my body to a position where it doesn't hurt. The next morning, after that session, I literally could not put my socks on. I had to ask my partner to help me. I couldn't even bend over, touch my toes, just to do basic things. And that was the hardest thing. It was more frustration again, naturally. I think obviously that's immediate reactions, but looking back, in a way it's a learning curve, but at the same time it's just annoying. And these things happen in these type of sports, where it's any sort of sport, really, injuries are a part of the game. So I totally understand that. But yeah, slowly now we're getting back into it. It's been probably about maybe 4 or 5 weeks going physio twice a week, just to make sure that I'm in the right way. Slowly getting back into confidence and lifting. And yeah, now as the weeks go by, I'm feeling more confident. The lifting numbers, I'm not chasing it, but right now, if it's there, it's there. I'm obviously a bit more in tune on my body and what's there. It's a fine line of not bitching it, but then at the same time, I've got to be smart about the whole process on not overdoing it to a point where your body's not ready for it. So yeah, otherwise, we are back. No issues with my back pain right now. I'm still mindful of doing some rehab exercises and whatnot. But just to obviously give you insight of what I've been through, it wasn't easy to just talk about it to you guys now, because it happened and I needed to just see where my actual lifting, journey and focus would be, because at that point I wasn't thinking about competing at all. I don't know if I would have if it wasn't going to improve. So yeah, I'm about 10 weeks out now and super excited to get back on it. I'm going to go train right now and finish it off. But otherwise, yeah, thought I'd just give you some insight on what it's like behind the scenes. Let's be honest, if you're not or if you haven't experienced some sort of injury, then, good on you. But at the same time, for those that have, then you could understand at least some form of frustration and how annoying it can be, but understanding that if you obviously really want this or really improve, then go seek help and assistance with your recovery or anything that you need, because that's obviously your body, and it just shows if it's important to you, you'll make it happen. But yeah, exciting. My next comp is coming soon because I think it's time to get back on the platform. Again, not crazy expectations. Yes, I do obviously want to improve from my last comp last year, of course, but yeah, we'll see how we go.